Hey, good evening. It is September 1st. It is Thursday evening, and it's almost autumn time. And so, in a few weeks, it will be. I don't know if it's going to be the 20, anywhere between the 20th to the 23rd this month. I haven't checked, but I'm looking forward to it because I'm really tired of the heat. Now, mind you, here in Bakersfield, it doesn't actually start cooling down till like the last week of October. Um, but I'm just tired of the summertime, and I think the autumn is probably it is definitely my favorite season. I like the chill, and I like it when the sun goes down early, and it has a mystical feel to it. That's one of the reasons why I've always liked autumn. And I think that some people say, well, it's because it coincides with Halloween. Okay, I know this, and I think that's one of the reasons why the this particular holiday or this tradition falls around this time. But perhaps maybe that's the case. But I certainly am very sensitive to the transition, the change, and the feel of what goes on. And it feels nice when the air is really crisp in the morning, and there's that breeze, and I always found wind very mysterious. I actually pay attention to which direction it comes from. I'm very, very, I don't know. Some people say, oh, you're so earthy, Maria. I guess so, whatever. But um, I'm looking forward till we get to the being in the heart of the autumn. And then, of course, winter will roll around, and I'm not as fond of winter as I am autumn. But winter to me is like this really dreary, almost wet, damp, miserable time. I don't care much for winter, but autumn is wonderful. Spring is nice. Summer I don't like. I would say autumn is the best. Anyway, moving on. So, since I made that last video, I will say that I feel like I got a lot off my chest, and this video is called Changing the Subject because, I think this is a really good time to fully transition to my new channel and change the subject and not talk about being a targeted individual anymore. I don't really want to talk about it anymore. I don't want it to be a part of my life anymore. I don't want I'm doing everything I can to not um, focus on that. At least I have since I made that video, which has not been a very long period of time, but you got to start somewhere. My God. Anyway, so I am looking forward to picking up on this new channel. My videos, oh, the content of my videos, of course, are going to be dealing with the issues relating to the paranormal, the study of different religions, some historical figures I want to cover in my videos. I also want to talk about, viewpoints in life and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to this channel. But it's something that I feel would be even more therapeutic to me because I want to move off of this subject. But the only thing I do want to say about this subject is that I feel as though I kind of cracked the code, or found out more through meditation and mind regurgitation. And I think I mentioned this before, but I didn't really see where it was significant or where it was relevant. But I believe, now, mind you, the people from high school when I grew up with, I didn't really have a relationship with these people. Like, I would see them every once in a while. I don't even think the majority of the time we even acknowledged each other as we were passing on in high school. I think that there was a lot of bullying, covert as well as overt bullying towards me in high school, because obviously when you are a different person, you're different. Okay, people tend to pick on those for whatever reason. And I think a lot of it was, of course, race and just the very fact that I was different. And I think a lot of it did have to do with race because, there are certain things that people expect of you when you are of a certain race, the stereotypes, and they're not used to seeing someone like me. So I never really knew these people very well, but I know that it's quite common for people who used to know you, and this is not just, I mean, it doesn't just happen to me. There's a lot of people who've reported issues like this going on in Facebook where, you know, they'll get contacted by someone that they used to know, and then there becomes this like social distancing, or people stop talking to them after a while on Facebook because it's just like people will see people always think that your life is better than theirs, or they feel insecure, or they want to be competitive, and I don't really know exactly what the whole story or how this whole thing started, um, with covert bullying, and then actually being more overt bullying into my workplace and so on and so forth. But and I really don't want to go into all that, but this is just another wrap up because I feel as though it's relevant to the story. I think that now, about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, this is when I was living over in another side of town. Well, not really the other side of town, just like a little further down the street. I was living in a little apartment on I Street. And during this time, I started getting like messages in my mind and during my meditation. And I felt as though that so I'm not going to call her a friend, okay, but the girl that I used to know in high school and hung out with at times, was somewhere around me. And then I also, before I thought about that a few years ago, I would say sometime around 2014 or 2015, I had a strange vision in my mind, and I dismissed it. And the reason why I dismissed it is because I felt as though it was an impossible thing. Like it just didn't make sense that this person would have anything to do with my life at all. Okay, because I never had a relationship with this person on any level. Okay, and I'm referring to David, who is the guy that I used to have a crush on in school, who I found out had a learning disability that I didn't know about when I was in high school, but I did have a crush on this guy when I was in school, and this would be his younger brother or something. And I kept thinking, this guy is somehow like stalking me or part of my life in some weird way. I don't know. But I kept thinking, that's impossible. That's impossible. Okay. But I think what happened was, I think that him and my acquaintance that I used to know in high school somehow ended up getting together and became a couple, perhaps maybe even legally married or something like that. Um, and I think that there was some sort of um, tension. I don't know, tension maybe between those two. And then I ended up getting dragged into it. See, because I keep having this vision in my mind that I was involved indirectly into a marital dispute. Okay, now I don't recall ever me like knocking on some bitch's door crying because she took my man or anything. I have never had any sort of issues like that. I don't recall being a part of any marital issues. I do remember having uh, thoughts that perhaps maybe the girl from Murray Family Farms that I used to work with had a relationship with my ex-husband, perhaps married him, and maybe perhaps married the guy that I used to know from high school. Okay. Then I kept thinking, well, maybe she thought that I was trying to get back with my ex-husband when she wanted him, and I never put up a fight at all. But I kept in my mind, it's like this message kept saying, okay, you're involved in this marital dispute. Somebody's dragging you into this. Okay, I don't know. Whatever. Maybe I think this girl that I used to know in high school, who at one time I would have literally given my life for. Not a joke. I really felt as though I thought she was a friend. And it's funny when you get older because, everything my dad told me was totally true. But anyway, yeah, so I'm not interested in David. I don't know David really. I only met him in high school, met him briefly in high school. One time I think I spoke with David, and I don't know him. I don't know him, but I I don't want to be involved with anybody's problems. I really don't. I'm not interested in being in anybody's problems. Um, it's unfortunate though that people turn out or they want to be competitive or they whatever. I would have never thought she would be competitive towards me, mainly because And this is, of course, just Facebook, okay? Like every time I looked at her Facebook page, it looked like she was having a great time and expressing herself. I think expressing yourself is one of the most important thing in the world that can make you happy. There's not much happiness in this world, so I always figured I saw her on pages with her guitar, and I saw her on pages with other people, and she always seemed like she was social and having a great life. So I never thought for 1 minute that she would want to ruin mine. You know, some people always think that the grass is always greener on the other side. And I don't know why anybody would think that, I have such a great life. Don't get me wrong, okay? If this never happened to me, I still would not have had a great life. I think my life involves, at least two people that would be someone that I would interact with and spend time with. Like, I need to have a social life, okay? And I don't have one, okay? And I will tell you the reason why I do not have one is because of this issue. This issue has created so many problems for me, and it became an issue where I felt as though I couldn't trust anyone. But anyway, on with that. So I think that's like the final wrap or unwind or mystery that I needed to solve. Um, and I do recall having this vision that perhaps maybe they were a couple at one time before when I lived over on the I Street place, but I never did anything to obstruct it. I never did anything to destroy it. I fully accepted that. I thought it was great. I figured they were going to come down and visit me and spend time with me, right, as a couple, and we would talk and whatever. I don't know why I thought that, but but I didn't realize that they were actually after my life and trying to destroy it or whatever. Okay. So, sometimes it takes me a while. I don't always get that because there's so many people involved in my targeting that I kept thinking, okay, I feel that this is going on, but I have to pinpoint who it is. And then sometimes in the sleep state, then it reveals itself to me. Sometimes I might just be washing dishes, and then it's like, boom, it comes into my head. It takes a while, okay? Um, and then there's times where I spend hours in meditation, and then the answers come directly to me. And there's a lot of things, hey, I thought, I don't want to know. You know what I mean? I don't want to know that somebody, wanted to harm me. That nobody wants to think about that. That's like really disturbing. My God, no, no. I don't. Anyway, back to this new channel, okay? Because I really don't want to talk about that anymore. And I will say that issue, the whole targeting thing, was one of the worst things that ever happened to me in my life. It really was. It was the worst thing that ever happened to me in my life. And especially now when I'm older, and I know that there's people who look at me and think, well, people always project what they would do. Like, they feel like, well, if I was an older woman, I would probably get married so I would have someone to spend time with. Because people get lonely, and even people who aren't old, they get lonely, especially since we started kind of social distancing, even though it's getting a little bit back to normal. But, people still sometimes, but no, that's not it. Like, I wish I did have people in my life, but I don't need to be married. I've been on my own for such a very long time that I'm comfortable with how things are. But I've always visualized my life being active, like working until I get a little older and then just die, I guess. But those are things that I want to do before I actually do that. And now my brain's a little scattered because when these things happen. Um, it makes you wonder, like, man, like, where do I pick up? How do I reorientate myself? Because you've gone through periods where you felt extreme anxiety, extreme fear, because what goes on around you is not normal. You know what I mean? And then after you have a hard time gathering your thoughts. It becomes, it's like always thinking that somebody's out to get you all the time. You know what I mean? But anyway, so changing the subject, I do want to focus my new channel on the paranormal and interesting subjects that appeal to me. And if you are somebody who has an interest in the paranormal, that would be great because, then you can watch my channel. And I will be talking about a lot of different subjects, breaking it down on different paranormal topics. Because some people think, if you're psychic, that means you're a witch. I'm not a witch, okay? But I think that some people think it's all the same thing, and people use that word um, interchangeably with anything that's a phenomenon, and or any person who exhibits, some sort of mystical feel or whatever. But no, a witch is something different. Witches generally have they're polytheistic. They tend to worship several different deities. And don't get me wrong, there was a time where I did experiment with that sort of stuff, because it was a part of my spiritual growth, my understanding. I think if you are somebody who's born with like mystical qualities, then you're going to venture out and seek different paths because you want answers to things, and it's completely normal and to be expected for somebody to have those sort of curiosities, okay? And of course, I dabble in that sort of stuff, okay? I think some people might have held that against me, but it's funny how like people, when people hate you, when people hate you, they just bring up so much shit. They want to talk about everything from your past, even though it's not even really relevant to today. They'll fucking bring it up, Um, but no, I mean, I think that I've always had a connection to the unseen, and this is what I really am passionate about, as well as philosophy. I'm a huge, I have a way of looking at life, and I feel very comfortable with that, And I do like to think about those things all the time. Like every day, there's something that just like floats through my mind on ways of living and outlooks on life, So I like talking about that. That's not to say that it's for everybody. You know what I mean? I think there's some people who are divinely inspired, but that inspiration belongs to them. It doesn't necessarily have to be dispersed to other people. Like, I was just thinking this the other day, um, like some people who follow certain religious paths, okay? Now, I don't know, and I'm going to bring up Joseph Smith, okay? I am not a Mormon. I'm not, okay? And I can't really relate to anything that Mormons do, or, and I certainly don't want to be a Mormon, okay? But I'm not necessarily bashing them either, okay? But I think that some people have special messages that are meant just for them. And some people get these messages and they think, well, I'm going to go build a religion off of it, when maybe it was just a message just for them. It's not necessarily something that they should gather followers around and they should make other people be members of it or whatever. Some people, it's just a mystical gift or mystical message or a mystical path that is given to them to live out on their own based on the circumstances of their life. Like I would say a woman such as myself, older woman, a older black woman, a woman who has no real connection to any family, or has a family that's abusive to her or whatever, that is a very vulnerable position to be in. So I think that I was given like psychic abilities to help me to navigate through this horrible, hellish world, right? So, so my view and my way of life and the way that I see things are going to be unique for me. They're not going to be really useful. I mean, some things would be, but perhaps maybe, but they're not going to be. That's not going to be the life path for many people who I'm around on a daily basis because their life doesn't resemble mine. They don't have, some people have great families. I mean, they don't have like it's not like the Brady Bunch, but it's pretty close, okay? I mean, maybe they don't have potato sack races and shit like that, but there is at least some semblance of caring, okay, to where they care about the welfare of their family members. But I feel like that those certain things were not given to me, so I was given this gift to help me through life. And so in cases of like people like Joseph Smith or other people that are considered to be prophets, okay, people who have a vision. And some people will say, well, Joseph Smith did this and he did that and he did this and he was a polygamist and he was da 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 da. Well, okay, I'm not one of those kind of people. But you know what? Who's to say maybe Joseph Smith what had superior DNA. And maybe he had a vision to create more people like him. I don't know why people do certain things, or why what message comes to them and why they do these things. But I'm not going to say he was a actual prophet, or he wasn't, or he was just somebody who was filled with ego and just enjoyed having multiple sex partners, so that's why he took different wives. I don't know why or what motivated him. But I just respect that this is what something that he did, and he had a vision and he lived it out, and that message was for him and he lived it out. And whether it was divinely inspired or not, I don't know. Okay, but I'm certainly not going to pick this man apart. You know, I just feel like certain messages are unique for certain individuals and not necessarily something that is beneficial to other people. And in my case, that's a very true case. Like, I do see things different. And, I know there's people who've taken aggressive measures to try to see me in a different way. Like they want to see me. If you want to see me in a different way, go find yourself another friend. Okay. And that's just pretty much how it is. Because, uh, because I would only be doing something to be accepted by the group. See, that's a very basic elementary school lesson that just about every after school special, it's a moral of just about every after school special, where, like, there's a kid who tries to fit in and they try to do things that are not really unique or like them, so they can be liked by other people. But then at the end of the story, they learn that they just need to be themselves, and they do the things that they want to do, and focus on being them. And this is, as cheesy as it sounds, this is one of those situations to where you know, it is what it is. I don't want to, I like my life. I don't want, to be a part of mainstream religion. I don't feel like, I need to be married. I don't need those things. I do think perhaps maybe I just want to kind of backtrack a little bit to the girl I used to know in school and then her relationship with David. Perhaps maybe she thought that I was attracted to David, or maybe I don't, like I said, I don't know David. I don't even know anything about his modern day life or anything like that. And no, I didn't. When I thought about them while I was living over in my apartment, I figured that if they became a couple, then they should have come down and spent some time with me, right? I mean, why? But I get it. Okay, they weren't really my friends. They were malicious and they didn't like me, and I was a source of their direction and their torment, right? But anyway, um, I'm I don't think that, I don't know. Perhaps maybe people have, like, they're projecting their thoughts into me. They think that they would not be able to understand my way of life, so they always think, well, then she must do this, or she must do want this, or she whatever, whatever. I would say that, most men my age, I can't say that I have an attraction to them. Do I think some men are good looking? Of course. I think there's a lot of good looking people. And, I'm the first to tell people, like, I think it's great when you acknowledge the good things in people. Okay. So if I see somebody who's nice looking, and it doesn't mean that I'm flirting with them, it's a compliment. They should be happy that they take care of themselves, and they're vibrant and they're nice and they're presentable. And it's nice to see somebody take pride in themselves. So yeah, I compliment people like that. Like, there was this dude, like, at the store, and I saw him and I thought, he was a very nice looking guy. And I kept thinking, if I say that, how's he going to take that? Right. And I don't want him to think I'm flirting with him, but I think that he should know that he's special. You know what I mean? You're special. It's nice to see that. But yeah, there's a lot of beautiful people, and when you see them, it's nice to see. And I compliment people. I do. I like to compliment. And it's sincere. It's not like, you know, if I see somebody who wears a nice outfit, then I'm going to compliment that outfit, and everything that I say that comes out of my mouth, I will not say something I don't mean. It hurts too much to compromise myself. So I don't go out and dole out compliments if I don't mean them. If I say something, then I mean it. But anyway, no, I think it's time for me to try to move on, move on from this, you know. Today I stayed really busy. I was really, really busy all day today, and which was good. And I'll be very busy all day tomorrow and all weekend, and that's a good thing, okay? And I didn't really have a whole lot of time to think about somebody trying to kill me, somebody who wants me to be their religion, somebody who wants me to gain extra weight. I didn't have any time to think. I don't want to think. Oh, and I would like to say though, I'm not interested in living out anybody's dreams or ideals or anything like that. And I don't want people making plans for me or trying to match make me with somebody, you know, especially around your work. Okay, I don't believe in that stuff. Okay, and I have every right to not believe in it, and the law supports me on that. So anyway, um, yeah, don't worry about fixing up my life. Okay, I want my own life, and I will say that growing up in my ex family, that they were very controlling, and I felt as though you know, it was something I couldn't wait to get away from, and I didn't like how it made me feel. You know what I mean? I'm somebody who has to think with a clear head all the time, and I can't think with a clear head. I can't find motivation with people directing that shit. Like I just lose interest in everything, and I stop caring. You know what I mean? And a lot of that, the issues with bullying and that kind of stuff, it's demoralizing. You know, I don't want to be around it. And you know, it's unfortunate that uh, that all of that happened, but I'm looking forward to making my new channel, and I can't say there's a launch date, but I'm hoping that it will launch before um, the actual beginning of autumn. And I know that I started working on this video. I think I started working on the video sometime in October last year. And it's about ESP and the different forms of ESP that I possess. And I think there's a lot of people who who think you should be hush hush about that sort of stuff. And to a certain degree, I would agree, because a lot of people like to use that as an excuse to, or they want to label you as crazy. I'm not fucking crazy. And like I said, you know, religion is based off of supernatural ideas, healing, levitations, um, being able to manifest things, this sort of stuff. Now, I think some people might have an unrealistic viewpoint of it, but this is what religion is based on, okay? What people do now is a very watered down version of it, where it's more focused on being in a club. It's more about acceptance. It's about, like I said, potlucks, picnics, um, getting a job. Sometimes it's a part of your network or whatever, but we're talking about real spiritual connection is what I'm interested in, and nothing that, I don't want anything watered down. Like I like the full effects um, of having that sort of connection, and this is what I want to talk more about in my videos, and it's part of my life. It is my life, you know what I mean? So I'm not interested in, I don't want to have to feel like I have to modify who I am to be around certain people, because those aren't your friends. You know what I mean? And I just, you know, it would be wonderful if I met somebody who had a similar personality to mine. And maybe they're out there, but I've been like so cooped up in the house after all the targeting. So just, he just really burns you out, you know? Because you get tired of these people got that smile on their face, and they're asking you all these questions. It really makes you feel uncomfortable. Like, I really am not comfortable with that. Okay. I just want someone genuine in my life, you know, if they even exist. But anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video because I am very tired, and I will be back with another video sometime later. I am looking forward to the fall. I'm looking forward to wearing boots. I'm looking forward to the wind. I'm looking forward to the sun going down early. I'm looking forward to, even though nobody really celebrates Halloween anymore, and it's really sad that they don't, but I do like candy corns. You know, I eat candy every once in a while, and I'm looking forward to buying like the autumn mix and all that stuff. This is what I look forward to, you know, and it's these little simple things that make me happy. You know what I mean? Because life hasn't really been very happy for me. You know what I mean? These people have made my life a living hell, I'm telling you. But anyway, wrapping it up. Take care, and I'll be back with another video sometime later. Bye bye.